Good afternoon, everyone. Today is February 11, which is Saturday. The time here in Australia. I live in Queensland. It's 1:31 in the afternoon. This is live. I know you're still asleep in Africa, in Europe. In Dubai, it's afternoon, or maybe it's morning. In Asia, it's afternoon because we have only a few hours difference. I live in Queensland, and I'm sure you've been wondering why Wilhelmina promoting Africa. That is a very good question. Yeah. Africa is the main source of natural resources. Now, let us talk about gold. Why gold is an endless demand. Gold has many uses. Gold is the world asset that you are searching for. Gold can make into gold coins. This is $2. We use this $2 every day to buy necessities, to buy products, to buy vegetable, to buy lollies, to buy anything. And this $1 is very important on every day we buy products. We buy anything, groceries. Without this $1, you can buy like fruits or bread. This one you can buy bread, $2. So without $2, you cannot buy bread. I'm just giving you an example so that the trader and the buyer and the consultant understand. Okay? This is very, very important. This gold made of raw materials, they refined it. And gold can refine into jewelry. This is a very expensive jewelry. This is 22 carats. The purity of this is 97. This is 39.40 grams. Right? I'm going to measure the gram again. I bought this measurement in Dubai when I was there last year. Just bear with me. I'm gonna wash. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to measure this jewelry that I purchased in Dubai. Right. Right. I'm gonna. Okay. This is 23.80 grams. This gold. Okay. And this one here, I'm going to measure on my scale. Right. Okay. Just a moment. I'm measuring this very expensive jewelry that I purchased in Dubai. See? This is 40 grams. This is 40 grams. So, this gold is coming from Africa. The raw materials. And they brought it to Dubai. The gold trader purchased raw materials and resell it to their own customer, which is jewelry manufacturer or refinery. Refinery can smelt anything. All right. Now, let us proceed to explain to you why buyers running around searching for supply. This morning when I wake up, I know a person, but I'm not going to mention her name. She knows me for 19 years. She's a very rich lady, and she live in Silicon Valley. Very rich. And she's a good friend of mine. Time to time, we communicate each other. She was being offered gold from Ghana. Mhm. And the seller offer undervalued. And her buyer wanting to buy gold in Ghana bank instrument. So my friend, I discourage her not to deal with any person offering undervalue so that you will not be burned your fingers. She's a consultant of particular big appetite buyer. And I told her, I know you, but I would not encourage you because you're gonna be disappointed. So I explained to her about this scenario about gold in Africa. At the end of the day, at the end of our conversation, she understood that this gold is not for her. Yes, she was just offer and she contacted me because she knows me for 19 years. She's a good friend of mine. Her origin is Japanese. Her parents from Japan, but they live in Hawaii and they moved to California. She's a very rich lady. And she's also a very wise person, the way I look at it. So I discourage her not to be involved with any undervalued price because that kind of undervalue is a smuggling. They are going to smuggle it. They are going to launder. Mhm. So she understood and she's happy the way I explained to her. This morning around 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll just wake up and have a breakfast with my hubby. Mhm. Yesterday and last night, I have also conference with different brokers. Right? Let's talk about Mali. This broker, he knows me, and he was been dealing with Romanian consultant, and their buyer wanting 10 tons of gold from Mali. Right? So this is a small buyer's agent or broker, a third party. He wanted to earn a living. That's fine. And this consultant in Romania, he said that he's next to the buyer's mandate. Immediately, I recognize that they are not transparent. So this Nigerian broker, he knows me, and I told him, I know you for 3 years already. You should understand that gold is not for bank instrument. Gold is not for standard letter of credit. It's not. And gold is not for cost insurance and freight only. This is not C.I.F. This is F.O.B, bank-to-bank payment. Mhm. So this buyer's agent or broker, he is really very pushy. And I told him, relax. Go through on my platform and read the golden rules on buying gold. And listen to my YouTube channel. I explain everything. It's impossible you don't comprehend. Impossible. So he said to me that, Madam, this buyer's annoying me. Buyer's consultant. I said, why? They wanted to know the SKR and export license of the seller. I said, okay. The SKR and the export license can only be released when the buyer send a formal letter of interest to purchase. The buyer has to introduce himself in order for us to determine whether that particular buyer is real or not. So for short, this buyer's consultant is not working for his buyer. He's working for his interest, how much commission he's going to get. So I told this buyer's mandate from Nigeria, I don't mind giving you as a Spanish fee. We call that referral fee. Once only, not continues. The seller would not pay you double commission at all. The seller hired Wilhelmina to market it. So the seller is paying my work just a portion. Mhm. So that I could assist the buyer and the seller. So for short, I am the marketing consultant and mandate of the seller from Africa. Mhm. So this broker, he mentioned about Unicorn Refinery in Mali. I said, yes, I know Unicorn Refinery. My seller dealing with Unicorn, but he would not instruct me to release the vital information of Unicorn because the gold is in Unicorn logistic deposited to them, and the SKR cannot be released to anybody. And I told this buyer's agent, there were four. One from Nigeria, and one from Romania, and two from Africa. So there are four. That's fine because that is normal. They're networking. But the problem with this buyer's mandate in Romania, he doesn't know his buyer. So the way I look at it, because I told this Nigerian broker, create a group chat because I want to interview them, and including you. So don't respond, just read it, because I'm going to question, I'm going to interview this Romanian consultant. Mhm. So upon my interview with the Romanian consultant, he's not helping his buyer. He's helping himself. So I do reject them. So I told this Nigerian, don't deal with this kind of people. They are scrupulous. They are smuggler. 10,000 kilos. The buyer cannot afford to pay the 10,000 kilos. And when I found out the buyer asking for bank instrument. Now let's talk about bank instrument. The bank instrument can only be given to the particular buyer because the buyer has his own facilities. Africa would not deal bank instrument. I know because when I was in Africa, I met one bank manager. There is no way that the bank in Africa dealing with bank instrument. There is no way that the bank in Africa dealing with standard letter of credit. There's no way. Why? Because the owner of the gold has no facilities. Yes, they have a company, they have a license to export, they have a bank account to the particular bank, but the bank discouraging the seller to deal with bank instrument. It is very messy. Mhm. So I learned because I traveled to Africa many times. This is cash business F.O.B. You're gonna say, Madam, I have a buyer bank to bank. That's normal. Buyer bank to bank. That's normal because of money laundering. All right, now let us touch about Africa again. Africa sellers and buyers are involved on laundering. Why? What is laundering means? Laundering means, you have a dirty clothes, right? You put your dirty clothes on washing machine to wash it in order to clean the dirty clothes. And then you hang it to your laundry outside of your house. Right? So your dirty clothes has to be clean. Buying gold exactly the same. Most of the seller offer undervalued in order to the buyer to attract because they were being offered undervalued. The problem is when you buy the gold in Africa, and if you are going to launder, Mr. Seller, you are involved as well on laundering. You are involved in leveraging. So when you launder, when you ship the gold outside Africa, and if there is no certificate of clearance that the gold is free of illegal activities, you're gonna be ended into disaster. So there are so many gold launderer, either the seller and the buyer. The most launderer are the buyer. The poor seller was ignited because the launderer, the sophisticated launderer, this a foreigner, they wanted to buy gold undervalued, and then they're gonna make into jewelry. They are going to refine it. So when they refine, the government cannot trace where the gold coming from. Now I watched the video about dirty gold, Dubai, and also Switzerland. I watched that video. I have their video that I watched, that I saw it on YouTube, and I put that on my platform on Facebook. If you are watching Mr. Buyer, go through on my platform on Facebook. You will see how this gold laundering and diamond laundering. Now the government now has changed in Africa. You cannot take the gold out of the country without cash inflow receipt. Cash inflow receipt means you have to pay the gold to the owner of the gold in order the owner to apply certificate of clearance. So the government will see where is the receipt of payment from the buyer. Without the receipt of payment, they call that cash inflow. Cash inflow means from your bank account, Mr. Buyer, to the seller's bank account. So the payment enter into the bank account of the seller. That is called cash inflow. So the cash inflow receipt that the buyer cleared his payment or her payment will show it to the government, whether you buy gold in Mali or whether you buy gold in Conakry. They will present that to the central bank. They're gonna apply a certificate of clearance, the ownership, the certificate of the child labor, and the custom clearance after the clearance of your payment. Now, Mr. Buyer, I know you are launderer. I know you are looking for cheap price. That is called laundering. I watched the video on dirty gold from Africa. Now, if you are really smart buyer or gold trader, don't be involved in gold laundering, because one way or another, you're gonna be caught. And what happened? You're gonna lose your business. I watched this video about laundering from Switzerland to Dubai, where the gold coming from is from Africa. I watched the video. I copied some of the portion of the video and I put that into my platform on Facebook. It is very interesting. The biggest company are involved with money laundering and gold laundering. Switzerland has no gold. They don't produce gold. Switzerland has a big refinery. All the gold laundering, they bring it to Switzerland and they refine it into gold bullion, UBS. I watched the video. I was really very amazed. I'm sharing you this so that the future buyer would not be involved in gold laundering. Mr. Seller, if you're watching me, this is also for you. Do not be naive. Do not grab the opportunity. Let the buyer be hungry. Your gold are very important to the world market. That's the reason why I show this video, because last night I was watching all the video about dirty tricks on gold laundering between the buyer and the seller. Most of the gold brought to Dubai. Dubai is a nice place. Dubai is a hub. But foreigners, they come to Dubai. They use Dubai as a transit of illegal activities. You would not recognize that the gold is coming from illegal activities, especially gold coming from Congo. Congo is the UN embargo. They bring the gold to Kampala. Now, if you're very smart, Mr. Buyer, I think few years back, the royal family was being scammed in Nairobi. The gold is coming from Congo. And I watched the news. It's in YouTube. The big scandal that the royal family in Dubai, his nephew was dealing with a company in Nairobi. They were being offered undervalue. Mhm. And the gold is coming from Congo. You know that Congo is United Nation embargo. So they were being offered. I watched the video on YouTube. I'm just sharing you here so that you, Mr. Buyer, would be aware that do not be involved on gold laundering, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be into disaster. So what happened? The royal family demanded to ship the gold because the gold was being transit. The gold was being withheld. So that 24 million worth of gold, there was involved with the politician. I watched the video. I'm just sharing you so that you, Mr. Buyer, do not be involved in gold laundering. And Mr. Seller, if you want to market your gold properly, do your job, because your government needs an income. Do not cut corner. Do not smuggle it. The more you smuggle, yes, you can get the client once, but there are monitoring agency. They will trace you why you launder the gold, where the gold coming from. That is the reason when today, when my seller delivered the gold, my seller supply the certificate of clearance that the gold is free of a child labor. So the seller will provide that his gold is not coming from the child labor. Mhm. So, Mr. Buyer, I think you are gaining more knowledge. I was talking to Philip from Germany. He's a professor in Conakry, in University of Conakry. He said to me, "Well, Amina, I've been watching your video, and I went through your platform on Facebook. You said that knowledge is worth $1,000,000. And I said, yes. No, Wilhelmina. Your knowledge is not worth $1,000,000. Your knowledge is worth $1,000,000,000. Why? Gold is worth $1,000,000,000. And you are the only person who share about your knowledge. You are professional compared to all joker broker." He was laughing because I always mention joker broker. Why I call you joker broker? You're just running around. You're not helping your buyer. Mhm. Gold cannot leave the country of origin without export documentation. You cannot. You cannot just bring the gold. The custom will seize you. The custom can arrest you as a smuggler. So you need to follow the golden rules of a particular country. If you are a businessman, you are rushing because you have been offered cheap price, you are waiting for disaster. Wilhelmina would not encourage you to do so. Mr. Buyer, why not deal with us? Wilhelmina is your business facilitator rather than using a lot of blockchain broker. Blockchain broker, they come to Wilhelmina. When they search gold, my video pop up into their screen because I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, right? I'm on Skype, I'm on WhatsApp. So I'm the only person who show my face. Most of the joker broker or marketing consultant of the buyer, they don't even show their faces. They're hiding. Why are they gonna hide their face? We are not hiding because my seller is the main producer of gold. So the seller hired Wilhelmina to position marketing around the globe. Now there is a saying, when you sell your product, you have to know your product knowledge. Wilhelmina knows the product knowledge of gold ins and out. There's a saying, position. I'm the one who position Africa. Why? I've been to Africa several times. I bring the buyer with my supervision. Now, Mr. Buyer, you're gonna say, well, Amina, how much is the price? Our selling price based on the world market. Less 8%. And when you resell it 2% to your own customers, still you have 6%. Last month, my seller in Conakry and Mali sold the gold $54,000 because last month the price of gold was 62 or 63 or 64. So the price of gold, it fluctuates. So the price of gold is not fixed. Our selling price, whatever the price of the day, 8%. Now, Mr. Buyer, you're gonna say, oh, too expensive. Correct. You're buying expensive item. Gold is not cheap. Gold is not banana. So this $1 or $2, I cannot buy banana without $3. The other day when I buy banana, $2.99 a kilo. If I don't have $2 plus $1, I wouldn't able to get banana. So where this gold coming from? The raw material, where the gold coming from? Africa. Africa is 98% of gold produced in Africa, all over Africa. And 50% of rough diamond coming from Africa. If you don't have the money, how you are able to buy banana? If you don't have the money, how are you able to buy this? This is very expensive. Yeah? This is my personal investment. If I don't have the money, I can just go to the pawn shop. I sell this one. So this is my personal investment. You are buying investment product, raw materials, because you are a gold trader. You're a big company. Gold can make into watches. I watched the video on Switzerland and Dubai. I have a video on my platform. I want you to visit my platform on Facebook. There's a video called Dirty Gold, Dubai and Switzerland. I was amazed how this big company swindle Africa. How this big company swindle the small miners. Now there are two kinds of buyers, industrial and local miners. The industrial mining company are big company. So there's a lot of big company positioning themselves in Africa. Chinese, Australian, Canadian, Italian, German, Russian. Why they're there? They're big company. They're industrial company. They are mining. They're leasing the land of the country in order to produce gold, and they smelt into different uses. Yes, they smelt into 99.99. So if you are a very smart buyer, I know you gain knowledge from Wilhelmina. You visit my platform, I'm sure you will understand that gold is not for laundering. If you're gonna launder, good luck. But I don't encourage my seller to be involved in gold laundering, because I feel sorry for my seller. My seller have huge worker to feed. He is following the golden rules of the country, because my seller was telling me we cannot afford to lose our license. Wilhelmina, we are a member of an export association. We cannot afford to be involved in gold laundering and diamond laundering. You cannot take the diamond without Kimberley certificate to signify that good diamond is free of blood diamond. Yes, because Africa are involved with blood diamond, fighting each other. Then they smuggle diamond to buy guns and everything. That is why Congo is now UN embargo. Because Congo is the original of fighting people, rebels, and etc., etc. So I don't want to explain further. I'm involved to market nicely. I'm involved with my seller that have export license and can supply tons of gold. Now in Mali have tons of gold. My seller has 16 tons of gold. One seller have tons of gold, another seller have 6 tons of gold. In Conakry, my seller have tons of gold. I've been to Africa several times. I bring the buyer. I assist the buyer. Now you're gonna see, well, Amina, I'm gonna travel to Africa, I'm here in Africa, I wouldn't able to entertain you because our policies like this is very clear and simple. When you search gold and you found Wilhelmina and my video pop up into your screen, you have to read the full corporate offer. Step by step, I explain the taxes and the price and the mode of payment. This is F.O.B. Our selling price less 8%. Take it or leave it, you can have it. Now, I can give you a layaway. Now, Mr. Buyer, when I accompany you, yes, I do charge my services. I am not your servant. You gain knowledge already because I give you a lot of vital information. You already gain knowledge worth $1 billion according to my friend Philip from Germany. Yeah, he's now my friend because we exchange information because he's a professor in Conakry University. He was telling me about the government. And I told Philip, yes, the government in Conakry are now getting strict because some of the politicians as well, they smuggled gold. Right. The new government, you cannot take the gold out of Conakry without certificate of clearance. Even in Mali. Now, let's talk about Mali because last night, I was talking to a broker from Nigeria that he said he has a buyer wanting to buy gold in Mali, 10 tons, and using bank instrument. And I said to John, there's no way that the buyer can take 10 tons of bank instrument. There's no way. So John mentioned to me about Unicorn Gold Refinery. I said, yes, I know that. My seller has gold at Unicorn, but I wouldn't release the SKR. I wouldn't release anybody because the SKR is the security deposit of my seller. There are so many criminals in this business, I told John from Nigeria. There are so many sophisticated criminals pretending to be a buyer. Mr. Seller, if you're watching this video, any buyer asking SKR and your information and the buyer didn't introduce himself, don't release your information because that the buyer's agent, he is going to solicit a buyer. Now, my seller, when the seller asks me to handle marketing, I do ask my seller his vital information, mining license, export license, SKR, etc. The seller gave it to me because they hired me to position his product into the market domain, the world market. So I have the right. I have the right to refuse anybody of you asking my seller vital information without the letter of interest to purchase. That signify that the buyer is really serious. But those buyers agent collecting information cut and paste, I wouldn't believe it. I will only believe when the buyer send a letter of interest. There, Wilhelmina, I watch your video and I'm very intrigued about how you explain, and I'm very intrigued that how professional you are explaining about how are we able to secure gold in Africa. Wilhelmina, I need 22 carats to 95% or 96% purity. I'm going to deliver the gold to Dubai or Germany or in Istanbul, SBLC. A minute you mention SBLC, you're gonna be rejected. Your LOI would be on my willy bin. I would not respond. I will ignore you because I already mentioned on this video from my previous video that gold in Africa is cash business. You have to pay for it. And you're gonna say, oh, I wanna buy gold. I don't want to travel. I don't want to pay upfront. There is no upfront. There's none. Gold is money you're buying. You have to travel. You place your order, how many quantity you want. We're gonna have a contract between the buyer and the seller has to sign a contract. Wilhelmina will prepare the contract on behalf of the seller and will send it to you after my validation about you, Mr. Buyer. How I'm going to validate you? After you send a letter of interest, I need to know who you are. I need your business registration, a copy. I need your importation license. I need your passport copy. I need a proof of fund that you have $1 million standby in your bank account to signify that you are a buyer. But if those black joker chain of broker, cut and paste, they don't want to release who is the buyer. They wanted me to sign an NC-NDA. Thank you very much. You're rejected. Why? NC-NDA, we don't need the NC-NDA anymore. We are now on the social media. I'm the one who do the marketing on behalf of my seller. Buyer can see Wilhelmina. Buyer can read the full corporate offer in front of you, Mr. Buyer. Click below, subscribe on YouTube. Click below, it says, show more. I want you to read the full corporate offer before you come for conference with Wilhelmina. When you come, meaning to say, you are ready to do business with us. You're going to say, Wilhelmina, I want to buy gold in Mali to use Kankamosa. That is no problem. Wilhelmina, I want to use Unicorn Refinery. There is no problem. Because my seller using Kankamusa. My seller using Unicorn Refinery. Yes. There are so many buyers stranded in Mali thinking they can get gold for free. Gold is not for free. There are 4 refineries in Mali right now. DNGM, Kankamusa, which is KMR, Marina, and Unicorn. There's another one brand new refinery in positioning in Mali. Why? They're there. There's business. Right? Kankamusa is the biggest refinery in Mali. They are Italian group of company. Their headquarters is in Europe, in Switzerland. Now, DNGM and Kankamusa are now amalgamated. I read the articles. If you are a really wise reader, Mr. Buyer, don't rush because you are buying $1 million here. On my platform, I put Kankamusa and DNGM. DNGM now are now partner. So my seller was telling me, Wilhelmina, if the buyer wanted to buy gold from Mali, yes, screen the buyer Wilhelmina properly. This is what my seller was saying. Screen properly so that the buyer understand that Kankamusa is also very strict. Yes? When you use Kankamusa refinery, you have to pay $150 to assay the gold. You are using Kankamusa refinery to use their facility to get the assay report. So if you don't have the money and then you're gonna say, I wanna buy gold in Africa, Mali, Conakry, Sierra Leone, no upfront, to me you are not a buyer. To me you are a swindler. Yes? I'm sorry if I'm very frank because I want the buyer to educate that there's no way you can get gold in Africa without any payment. Because there is a tax. In Mali, the tax is 7%. In Conakry, 6.5%. In Sierra Leone, 6.5%. Does anybody explain to you, Mr. Buyer? None. Even the joker broker would not explain to you like this. Most of the joker broker, they cut and paste, they're running around exchanging information. They come to Wilhelmina. Why? I'm the only person who put my face. So meaning to say, Mr. Buyer, deal with us because we are transparent. Wilhelmina is the key. Wilhelmina is the gatekeeper. Wilhelmina has the power to reject you, Mr. Buyer. So if I'm were you, listen to this video, read it. After you listen, click below, read the full corporate offer, then you come back. When you're ready, then that is the time I will believe that you are a buyer. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good afternoon. You're gonna say, Wilhelmina, before you close, how much is the price of the gold? The gold is fluctuate. 3 weeks ago, the price of gold was 63. Now today, because the stock exchange, the world market is closed, today the price of gold is 59,216 on the world market. Our selling price is 54, which is 8% based on the world market. You're going to say, oh, too expensive. You're buying $1 million worth. Of course, the product is expensive. Now, how are you able to get the best price? You must remember, Mr. Buyer, I am charging my services to you when I travel with you. Instead of 8%, I might consider to ask my seller to give you 10%. So the 4% throw back to you because I'm charging my extra service. Last year, I brought the buyer from United States. And you know what, this partnership, they're two, male and female, they said, well, Amina, your charges is worth it. My services, my extra is to cover my travel cost. So you are a winner, Mr. Buyer, because I'm going to throw back of 4%, 8, 9, 10, 11% I'm giving you. So at the end of the day, you owe me a favor instead. I don't owe you a favor at all. So if you don't want to travel, you don't want to pay my extra service, you can travel 8%. I will monitor your movement. I will prepare the contract on behalf of my seller. But if there is an issue, I wouldn't be there for you. It's better you spend money to make money. Anyway, I've given you extra 4%. So when you resell it to your own customer in Dubai of 2%, you still have few percent. You still have 9%. So what else you're looking for? So therefore, you're greedy. The buyer, the jewelry manufacturer can buy even 1.5%. That is not my business. I know Dubai ins and out. We are selling here for export. We are selling here continuously, long term, not a short term. We don't sell 1 kilo, 2 kilos. Minimum at least 20 kilos or 10 kilos. I can bind my sellers. I hope you understand my explanation. Today is Saturday, $59,000 on the world market. That was Friday, the price. Okay? Our selling price is 54. Don't bank on it because you have not confirmed your order. On Monday, you never know. The gold is 60, 61, 62. Still, you will get 8%. Only when I travel, yes, I'll give you 4% extra in total of 11%. Only. Don't bank on it. Because you have not convinced Walamina. You got my point here, Mr. Buyer? I already met a lot of joker buyer in Dubai. I met German. I met a guy from Holland. They are just pretending to be a buyer. They are collecting information from Walamina. And I told this German and this guy from Holland, you know what? You're lucky to meet me. Because you ask question and I given you the answer. Any buyer or any seller would not give you this kind of answer. Yeah? This one German keep on calling me and calling me and calling me. When I was in Dubai last year, suddenly he met an Indian partnership. I told him good luck. Yeah. Good luck. Because I'm not here to teach. So those buyers that meet me in Dubai, good luck. At least you know that gold is not for credit. This is cash business. When I found out this German and this Holland guy, their money is limited. They open a company. They spend $26,000 to open a company. At the end of the day, they don't have stock. Yes, you have a license, but you open a shop. Yes, you're gonna be registered. But how about the supply? You don't have the supply. Where you gonna find the supply? From Wilhelmina. Because Wilhelmina is the only person show her face. Yes, any buyer, please don't be scared with Wilhelmina. Talk to me in a proper way. Talk to me in professional way. Don't smuggle. Don't be involved in gold laundering because at the end of the day, you will end into disaster. I have a video called Dirty Gold in Dubai and Switzerland on my Facebook. I want you to click the link Take time, don't rush, because Wilhelmina is not rushing. You will only be getting the right supplier when you have $1 million in your bank account. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good afternoon. When you wake up, you will see this video. Good morning in advance.